I wanted to bring up Ray, who's one of our regional contacts in Israel and a dear friend. And he and I just want to set the stage for a conversation that we're going to host with you on Sunday after you've had some time to experience the ELS. And it's about what this is and what we're going to do with it in the future. And I'm going to turn on my little...
So I'm going to have this one. So hi, my name is Ray. I'm based in Tel Aviv. I'm part of Midburn community, and we got 3 other RCs in our community. My first burn was 2002. We started Midburn officially December 31st, 2012. And I joined the ELS, and before that, we wanted to bring to the tables like, why did we created ELS? So, and why did it happen for the first time in Berlin, and we're moving from one city to another? So, does anybody know in the room why was the ELS created? Why we are here today? Anyone? Dialogue, participatory. To share. Okay, to share. So we're sharing all the time. There's the GLS. Why did we start the ELS? Because there's a GLS Global Leadership Summit in San Francisco, created how many years ago?
We had it for 11 years. Then we took a break, and it's going to come back in 2020.
So why, anyone in the room, why did we start ELS? So I'll take that in a second if you get... Yeah, we have different culture orientation or different way to be in trippiness. What did you say, the person? What's your name? To build a community in Europe. I think at that time, about 6 years ago, there was already the roots. But there was a different call being sent to the office that I think you responded to. What was the call? Like, you got a bunch of calls like...
Yeah, definitely the European community members, the most vocal one being Dave Bradshaw, who's here in absentia. He came to the GLC in San Francisco and really wanted us to think about how we could host a smaller conference in Europe, because it's resource intensive and time intensive to have a burgeoning set of European leaders come to San Francisco year after year to talk about what's going on in Europe. That didn't make sense. So we started just by planting a little seed. We hosted the first conference at a yoga studio in Berlin. And we worked with this wonderful local artist, Ursula, to organize it. And at that point, I literally just went through the very short list of Europeans who had been to Burning Man. And I looked at, okay, who were in theme camps. We had some regional contacts. We had some people that received funding through the global grants process, some people that had volunteered in Black Rock City, and just tried to make sure that there were enough countries represented or that we gave an opportunity. But since then, the network has become a lot more robust. You guys are creating organizations. You have large communities that you're here representing. So it's really quite different in these past 6 years.
Yeah. So just a quick one with a raise of a hand. Who here has a legal entity in their community? Oh, so we got about 50% roughly. And for the future, we wanted to observe. On Sunday, we're going to observe what will be the future of ELS. But one of the things that we started, me and Megs, this dialogue a couple of months ago, one of the things that we were wondering about is what is an MVE? What is a minimal viable ELS? So what would you...
MVP, yeah, MVE. I like that.
Yeah. So what do you think, we wanted to plant these seeds about what will be the future. What do you think is a minimal viable ELS? So one of the reasons we're doing this 10 minutes or 15-minute session is to plant these seeds in your heads and to start this dialogue throughout lunches, dinners, parties, of like, what do you think, now we're in the present, what do you think should be the future? One of the things that's we're pretty much certain is kind of like about next year we just saw a popping seed or a popcorn. That's like, oh, the Germans are doing something.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. The Global Leadership Conference in San Francisco, when we paused it, we saw a lot of communities starting to self-organize in ways that we thought were really healthy. For example, the Southeast community does the Southeast Leadership Roundtable in the Southeastern United States. There's an Australia and New Zealand summit. We're thinking about doing an Asia summit this December. So we've planted a seed there, and that might be something that the organization sparks. The Asia Burners did one a couple years ago, but need a little push to continue it. Folks are self-organizing in the Mid-Atlantic, on the East Coast of the U.S., in Northern California. People from Reno and Northern California and Sacramento and cities around there get together for a camp out. There was just one in the Pacific Northwest. So it's kind of exciting to see that the Germans are going to have a summit or a German community conference. And maybe we'll see that some of you are also going to do that. So then how do we link those together, and how do we ensure that the ELS is serving a good purpose?
And to see if does the ELS still serve what the call was made a couple of years ago, and what are the new calls that we have nowadays, and what are the future calls that we see. Throughout the day today, we're going to understand more what does it take. You know, all of us are kind of like half expert or multi-experts. What does it take to create a burn? But what does it take to create an ELS? And we'll hear about it a little bit more further today.
I think we're also interested in places that would like to host. We've embedded some of the Estonian burners into the production team this year, because last year some of you who were in Nantes heard Ivo and Ava and the team present on the possibility of doing the ELS in Estonia, in Tallinn next year. We sparked an idea, I think, yesterday of having ELS on a boat that goes from Helsinki to Tallinn. So there's all kinds of fun ways that we can do this. So we want to just get your minds stirring, and we want to hear from you throughout the weekend, because we want to continue to be in dialogue about how this event matures and how we involve you in the process as we go along.
Yeah, and one of our communities, the slogan that we use is connect and create. And this is one of the reasons we're here. And there's a limitation to how many people we can get to know in a certain time. And connect and create, the further on it is inspire and scale. And we know that sometimes it's hard and people have different inspiration from different things. And sometimes it's kind of challenging to scale. And what is a good scale and what is like, oh my God, I can't handle it. Or the project ideas are too full.
And that definitely happened with the GLC, the Global Leadership Conference. It started as an event that was focused on our official regional contacts. And then, of course, we wanted to make it more inclusive of event organizers and other community leaders and facilitators, but it also became a training place for our staff members and for volunteers. So we think about, like, as we scale and grow, do there need to be different kinds of conferences? And I engaged Ray in helping to think about this, because in addition to being an RC for Israel and awesome and adorable, he and all-knowing, all-seeing with his third googly eye. He's also a really gifted community facilitator. He works with a fine arts community in Israel, and he'll be doing a session later today that's really focused on network mapping and understanding where there are needs and where there are gifts within communities and how we can think about our network. So he'll apply some of his learnings to mapping the ELS, mapping the European community, and beyond.
Yeah, and also you saw the amazing information coming at the ARR. So all this information is available for us, and the more we'll have open source information. So we have different protocols that we can use rather than build from scratch. We can reuse them and adapt them to our communities and to our network. It will make our life easier. And as we say with this dress, is like from meow to wow. So
Awesome.
so thank you for your time. Thank you, Megs. And
Yeah.
we'll see you on Sunday.
I'm excited to hear about what you come up with. I think we have a fun future.
Talk with us.